How much money do you need invested in order to retire? How much money do you need to make yourself happy? How much time will it all take? And can it actually be done? Well, do you know any of these answers? Because I'm genuinely asking. I'm having a bit of a millennial life crisis. Please help. Anyway, obviously I'm joking, but in this video I'm hoping that I can answer at least one of these questions. How much money do you need invested to retire? What I'm going to do in this video is talk through my calculations, and hopefully you should be able to do the same calculations and work out how much you need invested to retire. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ewan, and on this channel we talk about personal finance and investing in the stock market. So if that's something that tickles your fancy, then why not hit the subscribe button and the like button if you fancy it. But please remember, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just a random dude on the internet, so please do your own research before investing your capital. The reason I wanted to talk about this is that I haven't actually answered this question myself. My goal is to become a millionaire. But what if I can't be bothered with that? What if in 5 years' time I just want the option to be retired sooner or just financially independent? So I can choose to work if I want to, or I could not. This is often referred to as the FIRE movement. Financially independent, retire early. So how do you actually achieve FIRE? Well, let's say you are like me and you earn 25k from your full-time job. Well, I actually got a pay rise, but let's not talk about that. Anyway, let's model the FIRE movement off this 25k as it's just easier, isn't it? Usually people calculate their retirement based off their expenses, but for me, I think in order to meet my needs and have a few nice holidays, I can easily live off 25k because I'm doing it right now. And one thing to note is this will all be tax-free because we'll be using an ISA to invest into. So this will be the equivalent of having a salary of 31,000, as in you take home the same amount every single month as someone who earns a 31k salary. So how much do you need invested to retire on 25k tax-free? Well, there's actually quite an easy rule that helps with this. It's the rule of 25. So if we multiply the 25k by 25, you get the amount invested that you need. But I want to be a bit more conservative, and because I'm built different, I'm going to times this by 26 instead. So you need 650,000 invested in order to retire. But how can we actually get there? In turn, get calculating.
What, now?
Yes, please, now.
But I'm filming you. That's my job.
It's on a tripod, mate. You do not need to be here.
Okay, so I mean, I'll do it now. Here you are.
Thank you. So before we get on this journey to Mordor, FIRE, we need to have a few things sorted. One is that you can't have any debt. If you can get rid of your debt, you will get an instant return on your investment. So try and pay down any debt before aiming for FIRE in the booth. Excluding your mortgage, because this has a fairly low interest rate, so investing this money can often have a better return in most cases, but not all. Step 2 is to have an emergency fund. So you should have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, so that if you lose your job, then you are all set. In today's climate, the longer the better, as we don't know what the recession and the job market will look like in March/April of 2020. Step 3 is the fun bit. Well, ish, it's kind of boring still, but I'll try and make it fun. If you invested in an index fund or an ETF that tracks the S&P 500, which has historically returned 7% after inflation and contributed the maximum amount to your tax-free account, aka an ISA, this would be £1,666 every single month. And you would reach financial freedom in just under 16 years. This is obviously a tough ask, as the average UK salary is 31k, so contributing 20k after tax is pretty much impossible. So that's obviously not an option for most, but this reminds me of an important point. If you want to be financially free and retire early, you need to find ways of making more money so you can put more money in. Well, and that's obviously all well and good, but what if you don't want to do that and you just want to invest 20% or 10% of your take home every single month? 20% would be £336 per month and would take you 32 short years to reach FIRE. 10% would be £168 per month and it would take 42 and a bit years to reach FIRE. So the moral of the story is the more you invest now, the quicker you can be financially free and retire early. So again, this reminds me of a Dave Ramsey quote. Your number one wealth building tool is your income. So if you can get your income up and get your money working for you, then you will build wealth and get to the FIRE number quicker. So although completing the FIRE movement is a number of years away because it's going to take a while, what are you going to do when you actually get to FIRE? How do you actually live off your investments? Well, some people use the 4% rule, but because I changed the other rule earlier, the rule of 25, I had to change this one too. So this is the 3.8462% rule, which really does roll off the tongue, doesn't it? So what this rule suggests is that you withdraw 3.8462% on your first year of retirement, aka 25k, and then you adjust your withdrawals based on inflation following that. However, it's worth noting that this is based off a portfolio with 50% in stocks and the rest of your portfolio is in bonds, commodities, etc, etc. So as you get closer to retirement, your allocation in stocks may need to differ in order to prevent the volatility of the market and reduce the amount of stock. But this is future Ewan's problem. That part of the plan is future Ewan's problem, so we're not going to worry about that now. For now, I'm just personally trying to invest into building up my income and then investing more and more into stocks so I can get to the beloved crossover point. So if you want to follow the journey, then just hit that big red button that says subscribe and you'll be here with me up until then. So that's it from me, but did I answer the questions that I wanted to? How much money do you need invested to retire? Well, I said 650k, which is obviously a lot, but over a long period of time, compound interest plays a huge part. How much money do you need to make you happy? Well, I'm pretty happy now, but I want to get to a point where I feel secured and wouldn't have a worry in the world. And how much time will it take? Well, a minimum using this strategy will take 16 years, but you can do it faster if you invest out of an ISA and buy other assets like real estate or whatever, or businesses. Can it actually be done? Yes, it can. And that's it from me. I'm not a millionaire, but I'm trying to help you become one. Well, 2/3 of one anyway. Peace.